What is up, y'all? So last video we talked about products that I bought this year that actually were worth the money, and that's great and all, but in this video we're talking about products that I bought this year that actually failed me. They shit the bed. So without further ado, let's get started. And number one, and for some of y'all it's not going to be shocking, but Magpul magazines, more specifically the 19 and the 17 style mags. I'm not really sure what it is about these, but these fail constantly. Um, I wanted to give Magpul another chance this year because they were releasing a lot of stuff, and they released the RXM that uses these style magazines, and they're still failing. So I'm not really sure what's up with that. And the reason I say more specifically these mags, because where they're right here, I actually shoot these quite often, and I don't really have any issues with these. So I'm not really sure, one of you geniuses, that have done extensive research can put in the comment section why, more specifically these, because these have never failed me. And this is not to take a dig at Magpul or anything like that. This is not the objective of this video. I'm not here to dump on any company, just making people aware of things that are happening to me. And I've never had issues with their, now I forget what gen of these AR magazines gave me issues, so that's a whole different other topic. But for the most part, even the AK mags, I would pretty much trust my life with these. But there's something about these, these are so bad that even though I have no problems with these, all the PCCs that I have that are ready to go that I would trust my life to, I still use regular Glock versions, even though these don't give me any trouble. It's just the bad taste of these. Just better be safe than sorry, and I use Glock ones. If Magpul could address these, the RXM would be, in my opinion, would be even better than it is now, because then you don't have to go out and get Glock mags. But yeah, these failed me a bunch this year, and I would not trust these with my life. So again, let me put these down. Again, this is not a dig at Magpul, because actually I'm a big fan of Magpul. I buy their stuff all the time, and they do great work for a lot of the stuff that they do. But more specifically for these mags, these suck. I don't know what it is. So you let me know in the comment section if you have the same experience or not. But that has been my experience. So that's number one. And number two, this one's gonna hurt some of you a little bit, because every time I talk about them, people get upset. But number two is going to be the Acro P2. Failed me twice. Now, I did talk with Aimpoint, or a representative from Aimpoint. They did send me out new ones. The new ones have not failed me just yet. And the reason I felt like I needed to add this to this list, because I can't not add Aimpoint because I like Aimpoint. You know what I mean? And I can't not add Magpul because I like Magpul. These haven't failed me yet, but I've had two fail. And for something that costs as much as these cost, I just don't expect any failures. So, and it wasn't like a cracked glass or anything like that. Both times it was moisture got inside, and yeah, it failed me. So the P2 is on the list. And again, I've run the crap out of the Wolf Edge, the Siley Wolf Edge, the 509. I've ran other closed emitters, and I beat the crap out of them and never had moisture leakage issues or whatever. So the fact that these failed me a couple times, kind of upsetting. So would I trust these with my life? Honestly, I'm not sure. And that's the thing with the gun industry. There's bias. I'm biased. I really like Aimpoint. So, and I'm still giving them a shot. I still am using their stuff, and I'm still training with their stuff, and I'm going to keep testing it to make sure that these are good to go. But for something that costs as much as this cost, I don't expect it to go down the way it did. So that'll be number two. Number three is the Streamlight ProTac pad here. This thing sucks. I don't know what it is. I like Streamlight. They're a great company, but I don't know what it is about these, but these are constantly failing. Like, I don't understand, but if I were to move this a little bit here, or maybe usually if I do this, then it starts working again. Yeah, like there you go. Like everything else works once I click on it. But if I put it up and it sits for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever, I come back and I like, look, I'm pressing on it now. It's not working. Fails all the time, constantly. I don't know what it is. If somebody could tell me why these fail, I don't know. I didn't even bother going down the Reddit rabbit hole. I just, several of these have failed because I thought maybe I got a bad one. Because, you know, once in a while you get a dud. It happens. But this indeed is not a dud problem. It's a pad problem. And sometimes it's just this pad is no good. So, and all the others, I only run these on like my PCCs and stuff. Like I run Surefire pressure pads and lights on my ARs and pretty much everything else. I've never had an issue with any Surefire stuff ever. So like it's just upsetting because people like to say, you know, get a Streamlight for the price. You're getting a great product. The light itself is good, but the pressure pad hardware, whatever, does not work. It fails constantly. So that would be number 3. Now at number 4, and I know you guys are gonna be like, why is this on here? Wasn't this on your last video about things that were actually worth it? Yes, the grip itself, very well worth it. What we're gonna be discussing is actually the plug. And of course, I have a bunch of these, and of course this one is a little tighter than the other ones, but this plug here fails all the time. Again, big fan of these grips, big fan of the brand, the company, but I don't know what it is about these plugs. It is unpredictable. 80% of them fail me. You'll lose batteries. You'll just lose stuff. Like if I think I had Skittles or something in one of my grips, and I was out at the range, and when it was time for me to, you know, get my little snack on, I go to look, plug was gone, Skittles were gone, bad day. So, and these things aren't cheap. I mean, relatively, they're cheap, but like for what you're paying, like I don't want to keep losing these. So they have failed me. Multiple of these have failed me. I have buddies who I've seen theirs fail as well, and it's like hit or miss. Like if you have like 6 or 7 of them, maybe 1 or 2 will never fall off, and then the other are hit or miss. They'll eventually at some point fall off. So I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm not gonna pretend to know. They just fail. So I stop getting these plugs, and yeah, it's kind of upsetting because you know I like to store stuff. So yeah, number 4 are these dye-free plugs. So be aware, because again, when you get the plug and the grip, it's definitely more expensive, and if you lose the plug, you know, a weekend, 2 weeks in, it's kind of upsetting. So be aware. And at number 5, it's gonna be these Monarch ammo from Academy. Now, people, even in my last video, people were telling me about Academy prices and all that. Yeah, I made the mistake. They had a great sale on these, and I bought a bunch of these, and they have failed me time and time and time again. The 124s, um, the all the grains. It doesn't matter what grain it is. 124. I pretty much run 124 most of the time, so I'm just gonna use this as an example. Failed me all the time. So you may get a mag that has like you'll get constant issues with the ammo, and it is upsetting because now I have all this ammo sitting around that all I'm getting is issues. So yeah, I got a great deal, but the ammo sucks. So I'm not really sure. I mean, again, I don't know about. I've never made ammo before, so I don't know. I'm just letting you guys know that this particular ammo at Academy failed me a bunch, and I didn't just get one box. I got a ton of this stuff. So, and it failed. Whether I was running it in a PCC or whether I was running it in a handgun, it failed. So, and it failed all the time. So be wary, I guess. I don't know. Maybe bad batch. like you know, like crack. Maybe I got a bad batch. Who knows? But these have failed me, and I have a shit ton of them sitting around, and then it's gonna be a bad time trying to get through them and dispense of said bad ammo. And I don't want to sell it to anybody, knowing that these suck. So yeah, they failed me. And for the honorable mention, because y'all know I gotta always throw y'all an honorable mention as things that have failed me, are these plastic clips. Um, if you carry appendix or whatever, most of these companies, whether you can't not carrying appendix, whatever, strong side, whatever, you get plastic as the option. And I never used to upgrade to the metal ones. And until one day I started to realize that the way I was carrying, it was starting to be uncomfortable. And there was a sag. And a lot of them had this bend, this sag. And it made the whole thing, I started to carry more with the bag, and I didn't really realize what was happening at the time. And I started to switch all my holsters to metal clips, and it's made a world of difference. The metal clips don't move, it's rigid every time. It's back to being semi comfortable, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend like carrying a gun is 100% comfortable all the time, but it's back to being semi comfortable. And again, not dig at these companies or anything like that. Um, it's just these particular plastic clips. I recommend, if you get a holster and it comes with the plastic clips, swap them out for metal ones. You can get some on Amazon, or a lot of these companies like Hilliker Holster, for example, they're great. They'll give you the option, and Tier 1 does too. They'll give you the option to upgrade and have them install the metal clips from the jump. And I believe they, from what I remember, they still include the plastic ones in your package when you get it. So if you wanted to go back to plastic for whatever reason, you have that option as well. So definitely upgrade these plastic clips to the metal ones. It'll make it more comfortable in the long run, because in the beginning you won't really notice, but once it starts to sag and deform or whatever, it'll make a world of a difference. One of my biggest issues with the metal ones before I switched was I don't always wear carry belts. Like, I'm not always wearing my like my Constantine belt. So sometimes I'm wearing a leather belt, and I don't want the metal clip to scratch it all up or whatever. So just getting over that hump of just being mindful and careful of how I'm putting my stuff on, not just jamming it in there. It's annoying, but something that I can live with by having a more comfortable carry, a more predictable carry, because these warp and it sucks after a while. So I definitely recommend you guys upgrade these. So those were some of the things that failed me this year. There's a couple other things that have failed me, but for the most part, those were the biggest ones from as far as like across the board. Like, those Magpul mags fail all the time. The Acro failing is a big deal, because $600 plus should not be failing. Streamlight let me down with the Pro Tag, and I actually started to do a little bit of research. Apparently they fail all the time, so I don't know, they need to fix it, or maybe stop selling it or whatever, do a recall, I don't know. And then the plugs is kind of annoying. You don't want to lose something you paid for a week in, 2 weeks in, or it's really unpredictable. It can take 3 months, and then you go to look down and it's gone. And then lastly, the ammo stuff. We all work hard for our money, so we don't want to spend money on ammo, and then you go to shoot it, and then every other shot you're taking is a malfunction. So yes, Academy sometimes has great deals, but you just got to be careful. I rather wait for the great deals on the Blazer stuff and other ammo companies that I trust than to save 10 cents or whatever it would be, by trying to get the Academy stuff or the cheaper stuff. So just be wary, and keep that in mind. Let me know in the comment section anything that has failed you this year. I'm very interested about hearing about other people's experience. That's why I always tell people that everybody should have a YouTube channel and share your experience with this stuff, because it matters. I've watched videos where the person had like 6 subscribers, and they were talking about something very specific, and everything they were saying resonated with me, and me specifically, and it made a world of a difference as far as like what I was trying to get done with my gun at the time. So share your experiences, share your thoughts on stuff. It's gonna help somebody out there, and yeah, and it's awesome. You This is awesome. I love doing this stuff. So thank you guys for watching my videos. Do something great, be positive, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.